When you think of it, you raise your hand. Remember that? Yeah, we will. We'll take a lot too. I would like to introduce you, Old Fourth Ward class, to Mr. Angel. And Mr. Angel, this is the Old Fourth Ward class.
Hello, Old Fourth Ward class.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi. It's okay to say hi. You guys are so funny. Oh, I see Callan raising his hand. Go ahead, Callan. Yeah, you can ask the questions. If you don't remember what it says, you can just hand it to Mr. Angel and he can read them.
Thank you. And if I could say, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me to your class. It's so nice to have you guys interested in the Beltline and trees and trains. And so I'm glad to be here. And I would love to, if you could tell me each of your names. And maybe, each of your names.
So why don't we start over there? Will you say your name? Alessandra. What's your name? Who's next? Cole's not here. His notebook. He's going to be here in a little bit, I think. That's
Callan.
Yep, Callan. And who's next?
Levi.
Levi. And who's this guy? Anthony. Lennon. Indy. Grayson. Can we let Grayson let the people say their own name? Who's that? Audrey. Emil. Rowan. Jonah. And Owen.
Fantastic.
And I'm Miss Kristen, and that's Miss Nina.
Hi.
So,
He got Callan's question first.
so Callan wants to know he says, how did you build a whole Beltline by yourself? That's a pretty good question. There's a lot of people building the Beltline, but I would definitely say that I've enjoyed inviting people to come out and walk the Beltline. And in a lot of ways, I've encouraged a lot of energy around the Beltline because I've invited people to explore the city and learn about the city in a new way. You've been on the Beltline?
Raise your hand if you've been on the Beltline.
I heard there was a field trip. Did you guys like it?
I've been there. We've been on it.
Oh.
So I'm going to take this question next.
Miss Stephanie's trying to take a video, but her phone's ringing.
This next question from Alessandra. All right. Is what are you going to put on the Beltline? You know, that's a great question. I have already been putting stuff on the Beltline. I put a garden on the Beltline 2 years ago. And I put basil and rosemary and mint on the Beltline. And
You guys know what that stuff is?
Yummy elephant. Rosemary.
Yeah. You have that in your house too? It grows really easy. And it's good to cook with.
It is. Do we have any of that in our garden at school?
No.
Oh, really?
No basil?
You guys should go visit our garden.
Yeah, we have basil.
Yeah, you have basil?
I used to go
Jordan
like
says you have
that.
basil.
I have a oven, but it's not growing.
It's tough sometimes. You take another question?
I got the garden.
Bree, do you have a different question besides what's on your card? I noticed you raised your hand.
Different one. When I went on the Beltline, I think I saw the farmers market and on the Old Fourth Ward Park.
Oh, cool. That's a statement. Thank you for sharing your statement. Remember, question words are how, what, why, where, when. Thank you for sharing that information about the Beltline.
Do you want to share your card too?
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Read.
Reed, if you want to give me your card, I'll answer your question. Thank you. So Reed wants to know, how do they make the Beltline trains? And what are they going to look like? Well, the Beltline trains are actually being made here in Atlanta,
Wow.
in County. And they are made by Siemens, which is a company that makes trains all over the world. And so that I'm like, I don't misquote me.
No, we're not going to publish that.
AJC is next.
Yeah.
So the trains are being made for the Atlanta streetcar, but that's going to connect to the Beltline eventually. So the trains are being made right now, and they're going to look like, let's see. So if you think about the bus, and the bus is a big box.
Well, we have a book about
I saw a
Wait, do
picture
you have a
of
book
my
about you?
house.
Yeah, we made a
under
book.
construction.
You on the belt line.
This is
That's yeah. We've been talking about the past and the present and the future a
And
lot.
that's when they give you money.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about that stuff, right?
We are gonna talk about
Alright, so
that.
there's your question back for you.
Thanks, Reed.
And did you
That's
want
Levi.
to, Levi, did you want to give me your card or did you want to ask a question? Okay, did you want to ask a question?
Brain question.
We watched the movie of you. And you had no shirt on. And we saw your house
Uh-huh.
builded.
Yeah.
And we also saw you. And we also
Levi, thanks for telling Mr. Angel about how he prepared for his visit.
Thank you. I see hands.
Don't look at me, I'm not in charge of this morning meeting. Somebody else is.
What?
So anyone raise their hand on this side? Okay, Jonah's hand went up first. Do you have a question? I think this is a tough one too. Let's see. How did they make the train tracks? That's a great
Oh,
question.
yeah.
So there's a couple of different parts of the train tracks. There's the wood, and those are called cross ties. The wood goes underneath the rail. The rail's made out of metal. They make that out of materials that they dig out of the ground, and then they heat it up, and melt it into molds, and that's how we get the rail.
Wow.
Maybe you guys could draw a picture
There's
of
a
that.
couple of different parts of the train tracks. They're made from natural materials like a tree and other natural materials like rocks and metals.
Thanks for that question, Jonah.
Rome. How many people do you get to fix your house? A lot of people. I had 11 people come one day last year because the house was it was open to the elements. It was raining on the inside because the roof was damaged. And so there's a lot of damage inside the house. And 11 people came one day, and we moved everything from inside the house into the dumpster, all the material that was damaged. But I also had 4 people help me one day digging out under the house and then dig code out. So, thank you for asking that question. We'll go right here next. It's convenient. Owen. Why are they putting bikes on the belt line? Who rides a bike here? We have a couple of bike riders. Okay, do you ride a bike?
ride a bike.
Yeah, but I ride a bike at home, but I can't really ride on a bike.
You're learning still?
My own bike. Well, I got a new bike. I was been on my own bike. Well,
I saw Callan on the belt line on his bike one day.
It's a good question. Why are they putting bikes on the belt line? Because the belt line is flat, for one. So if you think about the city, we're a really hilly city, right? We have a lot of hills, it goes up and down. But the belt line is on an old freight corridor, and freight corridors are flat. And so it helps to ride a bike when it's flat, so you don't have big hills to go up. And then also, the freight corridor of the old railroad goes over and under all the streets, and so you don't have any cars. And that's why we have bikes on the belt line, because there's no cars and no hills.
Do you guys know what the old freight corridor means? That's where the train tracks used to be. Remember, we went on the belt line, we went on our field trip, and everybody wanted to know where the train tracks were. We couldn't see any train tracks.
Mm-hmm.
They used to be where we walked.
And
It's called the freight corridor.
there was some train tracks.
We did see some by Pont City Market, yeah, that were up over to the side.
And Angel, when we watched the video about you, we saw you standing on a white bridge.
The Ponce Bridge, it looked like.
and we found a quarry.
Oh,
We did.
With the machine in the water.
Okay, so let's see, there's another question. Let's go here.
Emil.
Emil wants to know, how does the quarry water get clean? So the quarry water is rainwater that falls from the sky and then drains in through the rock. And so the rocks clean the water as it's getting to the quarry, and that's why it's clean.
What do we know about rocks and cleaning
That's
water?
like a huge filter.
Yeah, it's like a huge filter. The Earth, you guys are really smart. The Earth filter?
Like a huge water filtering.
Do you guys remember
Yeah.
when we built those filters and one of them we used rocks and one of them we used pebbles?
Yeah, one of that used pedals work.
Mm-hmm.
Audrey has a question. There's two questions on here, one from Anthony, one from Audrey. I'll ask Audrey's question first. Why do you give the money to Trees Atlanta? I think you guys are asking
Yeah,
about this
they're
picture
really
here.
curious about that picture.
So that's a big check to Trees Atlanta, and I've been volunteering with Trees Atlanta for 12 years now. So
Wow.
and I plant, this weekend alone, I planted about 50 trees in my neighborhood, and I planted about 5 trees by myself. So I probably planted about, I don't know, somewhere around 100 or 200 trees
Oh my
in
god.
the whole city
Oh my god.
over the last
I got
10,
like 400.
12 years. I know, it's crazy, hundreds of trees.
I have 100 and million thousands.
So you're asking about the money specifically, and I do a lot of volunteering with the Beltline and Trees Atlanta because I like to volunteer. And do you guys watch TV, the news? So Channel 2, Monica Kaufman.
I was on the news.
Oh no way!
That's true.
That's amazing. News is crazy. So they picked one person that volunteers a lot in the community, and there was a contest, and I won the contest. And part of the prize for winning that contest was I could give money, $5,000 to any group I wanted to give it to, and I chose to give it to Trees Atlanta.
Wow.
You must really like Trees Atlanta.
So I volunteer with them planting trees, and when somebody offered to give me money to give to someone else, I gave to Trees Atlanta.
What about a tree that tea?
All right, let's hear the next question.
There's 2 questions on here. One from Anthony. How did he get that paper?
Oh, that was actually, remember that was for Kyle Brooks, that question.
But Anthony does have a lot more questions.
Yeah, three right here. We have a picture of Kyle Brooks behind you
Complex.
at the Sharpie Slams. He comes
Yeah.
here all the time. He's everybody.
Oh no
What
way!
did he do graffiti?
Hey, Cole, come on in.
Why did he do graffiti?
Why did Kyle Brooks? He does mostly murals, remember? But that one was the Sharpie Slam, and there was a big piece of paper, and that's what Anthony was curious about. Hey, Cole, come on in.
Have they had a chance to see his new mural on the Beltline?
No,
We haven't
seen
yet.
it yet.
There's a new Kyle
It's
Brooks
across the hall from the other one.
on the Beltline. It's pretty.
Maybe some people haven't seen it. I don't know.
Audrey had another question. What are all of my friends' names?
Whoa.
We could be here for a long time. So
Maybe you
I'm-
can tell us 3 of your friends' names.
Okay, I'll tell you 3 of my friends. So there's 2 friends at my house right now that were traveling from Tennessee to Florida, and they stayed at my place last night. And their names were Randy and Dazzle.
Ooh, I like
Ooh.
it. Nice. Thanks, Audrey.
Good question.
I have a new Debbie Griffin in the